You sold Barefoot to Gallo in 2005. The obvious question is, what was it like for you and Bonnie? The two of you worked hard for nearly a decade, building Barefoot from scratch into a high volume, popular brand. I'm sure the deal was exciting. Whenever the thing that you build, somebody wants it and they want to pay a lot of money for it, it must be very exciting. How did you feel post acquisition? Did you enjoy jumping off the bandwagon after so much hard work, or did you miss the action and being an integral part of the winemaking business?
It's a great question. Let me just answer this way. We never wanted to be in the wine business. We were both people who made mistakes right, and that's WRITE. When we made mistakes, we'd write them down. And we took notes all the time. We had like manuals and policies and procedures. Everything was written down in our business. We were not only performing the business, but we were looking at it as a laboratory for how businesses run altogether. What are the general principles that businesses have with each other? In that process, we were glad to have made the sale to such a group as Gallo because they were smart about merchandising. They realized that it was all about shelf presence in the stores, and they really policed that and enforced it. That's what we did. We couldn't do it to the level that Gallo did because they had thousands of people more than
Mm.
we did, but we had enough to press it in the stores where we were. They were able to scale the brand and they hired us as brand consultants to help them with things like teams that were dedicated to the brand and things like worthy cause marketing. We're happy to say that they took it and made it the number one brand in the world. For us, we couldn't have made a better sale because we were in the business consulting business in the first place. After we sold, we're still in the business consulting business, except that we've been through a real life adventure of building a world class brand for 20 years. It's one thing to sit there and talk and pontificate and debate about business principles, but it's quite another to go into a supermarket and see it, or go into a warehouse and see it, or talk to a trucker, or talk to a producer or a grower. It's an education that you can't get in school. So we took that knowledge and we were encouraged by people who worked at Gallo and also our former employees and many of our customers and suppliers. Write a book. Why don't you guys write a book about this? We wrote a book. We were pretty much finished with it, and it was so boring we threw it right in the garbage.
Okay.
Just awful. Then we said, nobody's going to listen to this. We decided to rewrite it and we wrote it as a business adventure story, a white knuckle rocket ride where you're not sure if they're going to make it from chapter to chapter. It becomes a real page turner. We weren't so interested in prescriptive texts like, here's the 3 things you got to do, the 5 things to never do, the 20 things your customer wants from you. You start talking to people like that, they're going to fall asleep in item number 2. We said, how about the guy walks into the store in a rainstorm and he gets blown around the parking lot because he's holding on to this piece of foam core like cardboard that's 5 feet by 5 feet and he has a 4 foot high purple foot on it. He's being blown in the storm down south, and then he gets hit with buckets of rain. He still shows up in the store. He still wants to make the sale, but all he can hear is wet mop up front because it is a mess, and you have to really want to do it. It's a moniker for the whole idea of the barefoot spirit, which is it's one thing to have a great product. It's quite another to understand how to sell it. Then it's really quite another to do what you have to do to make that happen because you have to do things that are apparently humiliating, but they certainly are not what you expect.